It's crunch time.
Welcome back to another episode of Crunch Time, everyone. I'm your host, Jeremy Lagos, and alongside me, we got reigning three-time champ Chris, we got Nathan, and we got Sam. How are we doing, fellas?
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, here on Crunch Time, we talk about your favorite topic, sports. So, gentlemen, I think we should get right into it.
Oh, for sure.
The playoff matchups are set in Major League Baseball. First off, in the National League, we have the Brewers and the Rockies in one series, and the Braves taking on the Dodgers in the other. The Brewers go from game 163 to the top seed in the NL. Now, fellas, who do you have moving forward in the National League?
Well, I honestly, in this first match of the Brewers and the Rockies, I got the Brewers. They have 5-2 record over the Rockies this season, and coming out of the end of the season, they have an 8-game winning streak, including that game 163 win, which was crucial to them getting that number one spot. They also are the best team in the NL now with 96 wins. I think this is a pretty big one. Brewers are going to win 3-2. And then moving on to the Braves-Dodgers. Dodgers also hold a 5-2 lead over the Braves. And then the Braves went 16-12, so about 500, 18-9. Dodgers win 3-0. I think it's a sweep.
All right, Chris, what do you got for us, Nathan?
You make great points, but I got a quick question. Can you guys name me who the Braves manager is right now?
No.
Exactly.
Who cares?
My point. This team has been underrated the entire season. That division's been always talked about. Bryce Harper is going to go. How about Jacob deGrom, Cy Young? The Braves have been slept on the entire year. Freddie Freeman is an MVP candidate on the National League side. They have young guys like Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies, and their pitching staff is pretty good. Mike Fulcinats.
All right, Nathan, unfortunately, I have to cut you off, but
All right.
Sam, let's see what you got.
Nathan, I do really like your point with the Braves. They are a big sleeper in this NL playoffs, and I truly believe Ozzie Albies and Robert Acuna are probably one of the best rookie tandems in MLB history. I'm just going to put that out there, but I feel like they've made a great impact on their teams right away, and I think this Braves team can really make a push to go to the World Series under all circumstances they're in right now. I do feel like this Braves team can make a strong push, go past the overrated Dodgers, right? I do feel they're overrated. And then the Brewers, they have a great team. Yelich is having a fantastic MVP season, but I feel like if the Braves can hold on to it, though my only worry with them is their pitching staff. Not a whole lot of guys. They do have a fairly good rotation in the starting lineup there, but I do feel like the Braves can make a strong run in the NL.
All right, fellas, Chris getting on the board early once again. I like the Brewers and the Dodgers coming into the playoffs streaking. You want to come into the playoffs hot, that's what they're doing. Chris starting off hot. Now, on the flip side, in the American League, we didn't have any game 163 excitement, but nonetheless, exciting matchups to come. We have the Yankees thrashing the A's after the wild card game, and maybe the premier rivalry in all of sports, Yankees-Red Sox. And now we also have, on the other side, Astros, the World Series reigning champions, taking on Cleveland, runaway AL Central champions. Who do we got coming out of the junior circuit, fellas?
You know, I like that Boston-New York matchup, but I'm going to go with the Astros. They won it last year. They got better pitching. They lead the league in ERA, team ERA. Their bullpen is good. They added Robert Acuna during the mid-season moves. Ryan Presley, who has under 1 ERA, and Alex Bregman's having a breakout year. So I'm all in on the Astros this year.
My team in the AL, they're coming out of the wild card. I feel like the Yankees are making a strong push in this AL playoffs. They've put up 100 wins this season. That's very impressive, but it often gets overshadowed by the Red Sox tremendous season. And I feel like in this upcoming series, there's going to be a lot of bad blood there, like there always is. But I feel like the Yankees kind of have an upper hand in a way. And don't forget, the Yankees just broke the regular season record for most home runs. And that's very impressive. And plus, they have these key additions of Giancarlo Stanton, who put up 38 homers.
Sam likes the Yankees offense. What can you tell us?
I am going with probably Boston overall. I think, it's going to be a really tough matchup. It's been a 10-9 series in this division this year. Boston leads by 1 game. But with the depleted bullpen playing that extra game, being in the wild card, I think I'm going to have to go with Boston winning that one. I see the Astros out of the other division because the Indians just aren't competitive. But I think Boston's going to be the team that moves on.
But can their pitching get it done this year?
I think they can. I mean, they won 106 games. I mean, you obviously say, well, they won a lot of games, are they going to be tired? But there's a point. They've won the games. Why would they not do it?
This Yankee pitching staff, though, led by Luis Severino, and plus they have Aroldis Chapman coming in for their closer. Any close game, I feel like Aroldis can shut that down pretty quick.
I'm not a favorite of the Yankees pitching. I saw last night, New York fans were all over Severino. They're happy he got out of the 4th inning. They thought that was a good performance. I don't see how that's a good performance.
He's been strong
I don't
all
get the
year.
pitching. I don't know.
All right, so I hate to say it, I like the Yankees, the way they got that set up. They got the home run record. The Bronx Bombers really seem to be hitting it off at the right time. Now, have we seen the last of longtime Joe Mauer, Minnesota Twin? Guys, do you see the sideburns? Where do you have him ranked on the all-time Twins list?
Oh, first of all, before we start, I want to say a big thank you for Joe Mauer and everything he's done for the Twins organization and the Minnesota community. It's been truly remarkable. His numbers over his early season and also later in his career were just fantastic, and I do feel like he should have won a Gold Glove in 2017 over at first base. That's just how versatile he is. I do think he's up there with one of the greatest Twins of all time. Is he the greatest? I don't believe, though, but I do think he's in the top 5 at least. And I also want to say, behind David Winfield, I do feel like Joe Mauer is probably the best Minnesota-born athlete to come out of the state. 3-sport athlete at Cretin-Durham Hall. Could have gone D1 in any of those sports. Yeah.
I'm gonna go disagree with you, but I'm gonna agree with you. I mean, he is a fantastic Minnesota player. His stats maybe aren't the best Minnesota stats ever, but one thing that makes him in my mind the #1 Minnesota Twins player of all time is he is the son of Minnesota, born right in St. Paul. He is a representation of what this team is and what this team wants to be. And that's why I believe, he is just one of the greatest people. He's a legend to everybody in the eyes. He helped us get so far, in all the years that we had chances. He's going to be missed, but I think he's my #1.
You mentioned so far, but where did they get far with Joe Mauer? But I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Doesn't have 3,000 hits. And if you think about this generation, who are you going to pick as the catcher? Yachty or Molina?
Joe Mauer.
He has rings.
He has to go to the Hall of Fame.
Joe Mauer's not a Hall of
He's
Famer?
going to the Hall of
really?
Fame.
He played
Any person that wins an MVP should be going to the Hall of Fame.
Justin Morneau won an MVP award.
Okay.
Really? He could go to the Hall of Fame.
He could go to the Hall of Fame too.
He won a home run derby too?
He played half his career out of power position. The most he's hit was ever 38. And who hit 38?
If Joe Mauer stays at catcher for his entire career, do you have him in the Hall of Fame? Did move him to first?
Joe Mauer leads the whole Twins organization history in on-base percentage. I feel like that's probably the most important stat in baseball.
He's like second in hits too.
Rod?
He's second in hits. He's first in doubles.
Yes.
And you're saying the powers.
Rod Carew's fantastic, but he's not the best.
He's probably up there ahead of Joe Mauer all time, and so is Harmon Killebrew. But that's not saying Joe Mauer isn't up there as well.
All right, fellas, I have to cut you off. I love the debate. Sam, I have to give it to you again. Hall of Famer for sure. Not the best Twin of all time, personally, but he's definitely ranks up there. All right. All right. After one, we have Sam winning 2-1. Nathan yet to get on the board, but we'll see what happens coming for the rest of the show. We'll catch you right back with some gridiron action. See you after the break.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back, everyone. So far, we have a tight battle. Chris with 1 point. Nathan in the lead. Nathan yet to get on the board, but he's had some good points. Sam, he's winning so far, so we'll see what goes. Right now, we have some exciting football topics to kick off round 2. Let's snap the ball on some college picks in action. To nobody's surprise, we have the SEC dominating the top of college football rankings. We say that year after year. Can anybody bring down Bama? Who has the hot start and who is out kicking their coverage?
I gotta say, my number one, my contender in everything is gotta be Georgia. Their win margin this year over any team is at least 14 points. That's 2 touchdowns over everybody else this season. Their worst game was 14 points, like I said. Late in the season, they're going to be playing LSU, who's ranked 5 now, Florida ranked 22, Kentucky, who is high overrated at 13, and Auburn, who's rated 8. They're going to really be tested at the end of the season, but if they come out on top, I think they're even a better Georgia team than we saw last year. My pretender is probably going to have to be Clemson, because they're not even going to play a top 25 team all year, and their team almost fell apart against Syracuse when their QB situation went off.
All right, Nathan.
I like those picks, but my contender is going to be Ohio State. They just won practically their Big Ten championship game against Penn State on the road. They also beat a TCU team in a neutral site game that was in Dallas. So they take care of the rest of the schedule. They beat Michigan and the Big Ten championship at the end of the year. I don't see how they're not in the Final Four.
What I don't understand is how come everybody's looking over this Oklahoma Sooner team, ranked number 7 right now, and they're probably led by one of the best, if not the best, college quarterback right now in Kyler Murray. I don't care about Tua Tagovailoa for Alabama. I think Kyler Murray is probably the best, and the scary thing is he might not even go to the NFL when he's done playing college football. He's got the Oakland A's first-round draft pick calling his name, and he's also putting up big numbers for the Oklahoma Sooners. And you throw in this wide receiving core they have and also a fantastic defense. I think Oklahoma can make a strong push in the college football playoffs. My pretender, I gotta agree with Chris. I do think Clemson won't even make the playoffs this year. It all depends on how their quarterback situation works out. If Trevor Lawrence can make a step back and be productive like he once was. I even read they were warming up a wide receiver this week just in case. Something's going wrong there.
Oklahoma overtime win over Army at home. I don't know.
It's a little stressful. They're still a good team, but I mean Georgia. That's what I'm saying. They were like the team to go last year. They made it past Oklahoma.
I like Georgia, but I do like Oklahoma a little bit more. I think they have that explosive offense. Murray, not even his best sport, but he's kicking some butt in college football. I do like that. Unlike Oklahoma, we do have a little QB controversy going down with Clemson. Kelly Bryant, Sr., announced he was transferring after being benched, so naturally, incumbent starter Trevor Lawrence gets hurt. Does Bryant 360 his way back to the Tigers? What does this mean for Clemson, and how much does Dabo Swinney deserve to be blamed?
Well, they did a great job recruiting. They got the #1 quarterback coming in this year. Kelly Bryant should have known that. He had to get better over the offseason. Trevor Lawrence is just the better quarterback all around. Clemson has the weapons at wide receiver and running back. They've just been waiting for the right quarterback to control that offense, and now they're ready to roll.
I think Kelly Bryant is a great quarterback for this Clemson team. He's led them to three straight ACC titles, and then 3 straight college football playoff appearances. And he's only got 1 more year of eligibility left. I can see why he wants to leave and try to solidify a first-round NFL draft pick situation. But another part of me says, why aren't you staying? Take a page out of Jalen Hurts' book and stay behind Tua and kind of help him, put him under your wing.
Chris, what do you got for me?
I got to go with this is a disaster for Clemson. I mean, you saw them. They fell apart against Syracuse, and I don't think it's going to get any better as long as, their freshman quarterback doesn't come back. And, Dabo is definitely to blame here. He made a mistake in not putting faith.
Over-recruiting?
Well, no, but he made a mistake in not keeping faith in his highest player. You redshirt for a reason. Like, you can put him on a redshirt.
You're not gonna redshirt your top guy.
I mean, but you can play with a good player. They had Kelly Bryant. He was going to make them a good team. One injury now screws it all up.
Nathan, congratulations. You're on the board. I like what you have to say. That quarter can't be redshirting your top guys. Now they say if you have 2 QBs, you don't have any. Ryan Fitzpatrick topped 3 3 straight 400-yard games before being benched for former top pick Jameis Winston, fresh off his suspension. Winston shaky in his own right, tossing 2 picks. And famous Jameis was named a starter going forward coming out of the bye week. Was it too early to turn to him, or does Fitzpatrick, does he deserve to get back in the saddle? Let's hear from Tampa's head coach.
Based on that game today, we couldn't make enough changes. We should fire every person that was on that field today, starting with me. That was horrific.
All right, Nathan, what do you got for me?
Well, I'm going to say they should keep going with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Last year, you had practically the same exact roster. Winston was only able to go 5-11 with them. And Fitzpatrick almost got them to 3-0 with that comeback against the Steelers. He has controlled this offense. He uses all the weapons. I think he's the better guy.
Nathan, I'm going to have to go against you here, and I'm going to say, unfortunately, the era of Fitzmagic is over. It's time for Winston to come back in and try to eat some more W's for this Buck squad. Fitzgerald had less than stellar performances, we mentioned, against the Bears. 126 yards and a pick. That's not what we've seen from him all season. But if you look at his 12 years, he's only had one solid season, and that was back in 2015 with the Jets. Everything else besides that been mediocre to worse. So I feel like his whole 15 minutes of fame are up.
Hey, I mean, I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is still a good QB. I mean, you look at the numbers he's put up at the start of this year, and that's why I don't think you can just say, oh, after one game. I mean, 3 fantastic games doesn't equate to 1 bad game getting pulled, especially when you have a player like Jameis Winston. Now, don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback, and he might be able to help this team out, but I said it last week with Josh Gordon, I don't like players with vices. They have problems. They're going to cause problems for teams. And I think the smart solution is to put Fitzpatrick in until you're sure you have to move to Jameis.
I think Winston only will get better if they change coaching staffs.
I think it's all going to come up to who can better their team. And I feel like Winston's legs in the situation with kind of the pressure that they're giving.
I don't know. The passing game has been pretty good, though. To start out with Fitzpatrick.
High-pressure situations, Winston can get out of that pocket and make a scramble. That's something Fitzgerald can't do.
Does Winston
That's
win that
true,
game,
but he
though?
also has the arm to make it happen. He threw for 400 yards in the first 3 games. That's like a lot of yardage. That's like top contender quarterback for the year to start out, and then 1 bad game and he gets pulled.
But he's not going to keep that up the rest of the season.
You don't know that for sure. 3 over 1 is better than 1 over 3. I mean.
All right, guys. Point Chris. I do like Fitzmagic. I like where he has this offense. And with that, Chris back on the board, right behind leader Sam and Nathan bringing up the rear with 1. We check back in with the guys after this break.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Gotta get up and be somebody. We can break it down, yes we can make it. We can break it down, yes we can make it. Numbers, but I'm searching for a
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for tuning back in. The scoreboard reads, Nathan in the middle has 1, Chris nearest me is 2, Sam right now is the winner. And for our big crunch, Sam, I think I'm going to have you started off. There have been a lot of noteworthy QB performances this season, both good and bad. Big Ben Roethlisberger leads the way with 1,414 yards. We have the former Cal Bear, Jared Goff, and everyone's favorite Cousins right behind him. Now, with plenty of QBs to choose from, Sam, who do you think's legit and who needs to quit?
I'm not picking any of the ones you just named. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for these next 2 picks, but hear me out here. My quarterback for real, Andrew Luck with the Colts. He has thrown for over 1,100 yards so far this season, 9 TDs, only 3 interceptions. All of this is coming straight off a severe shoulder injury that made him miss out the whole season. He threw for 464 yards and 4 TDs last week against the Texans. That's the first time he's ever done that in his career. Again, remember the shoulder, and they still lost. And that's the problem, that he's not getting up there. This Colts team needs to come together as a unit. Their pass protection needs to get better, their defense needs to get better, and their running game needs to come alive. And that's something they've never had. Once that stuff comes up, I feel like Andrew Luck is going to solidify himself in probably one of the top positions. And Andrew Luck's back after that shoulder, and he's better than ever this year. I can feel it. My fake QB, Cam Newton.
We're going to have to cut you off.
Oh, yeah. Cam Newton, though. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. My for-real quarterback has to be Drew Brees, about to break the all-time passing touchdown record, or it's one of the two, passing yards, passing touchdowns. But he's still one of the all-time great quarterbacks, on pace to have a 5,000-yard season with 32 touchdowns, and through 4 games already has not thrown a pick. I know that will change. That's not, numbers won't say that he will not have a pick this season, but I mean, so far through 4 games, 0. He's so good, and like I said, one of the all-time greats. New Orleans has started out looking pretty good to start this year in a very tough NFC South division. My pretender is probably going to be Ryan Tannehill because, he started out looking really good so far this year, but he is Ryan Tannehill and he is with the Dolphins. I mean, this is a team that turned to Jay Cutler last year.
All right, the Dolphins went to Jay Cutler. I'm going to Nate.
Well, my quarterback for real is Andy Dalton. I know you guys might not agree with that, but ever since Bill Lazor has taken over as offensive coordinator, he is 3rd in touchdowns thrown, only behind Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. They finally have a second receiver behind A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd. He's had 2 consecutive 100-yard games, and they have a good running back tandem with Giovanni Bernard and Joe Mixon. Now, my fake quarterback is going to have to be Mitchell Trubisky. That last game against the Bucs was a fluke. They're the worst team against quarterbacks in the league, and I feel like the Bears are ever going to forget drafting him instead of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
I can see why they will regret that. Mahomes is having a great season. And Chris, as you said, Ryan Tannehill, that's kind of obvious because Ryan Tannehill's garbage.
That's true, but I mean, he did start out looking good this year. People could say there's the option of people saying, oh man, like it's the Dolphins' year. They started out with a 3-0 record playing the Patriots, and then they got destroyed. And that's what I mean. Like, he started out looking good, but he really is a pretender. Yeah. He's going to fall back into that same group.
My fake QB I was going to go with was Cam Newton. Only 646 yards in the air so far. He hasn't had a 4,000 yards.
That's pretty obvious to me too, though, Cam Newton, because Cam Newton hasn't been all that good the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, if he wants to solidify himself as a great QB, he needs to start winning playoff games and go to the Super Bowl.
I don't think I mean, after that one against Super Bowl 50, I don't think he's going to get back there. He just isn't that good of a quarterback anymore.
No, he's not.
What do you guys think? Ryan Tannehill, 10-2 in his last 2 games, last 12 games.
No.
Still a pretender to me.
It's a pretender, yep.
They had their chance against New England.
All right, Nathan, I really like what you have about Andy Dalton. He's coming out on fire this year, and he looks to continue going. Mitch Trubisky coming in, didn't have the best start to his career. That game is definitely a blimp. Nathan, coming up, only 1 point back with Sam. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm counting down the days until the NBA season finally tips off. There is plenty of intrigue around the league, especially with the NBA's greatest franchise. The Purple and Gold had quite the offseason, adding the GOAT, Be Easy, Lance and Make 'em Dance. Did the Lake Show host the Larry O'Brien Trophy come June, or do they miss the playoffs in the stacked West? What can you guys expect from the Lakers this upcoming season?
Miss the playoffs is a large overstatement. Like, they're definitely making the playoffs this year. They're one of the best in the West, and this is a team that was good before they added all these pieces to them. But again, another team you got to watch out for is the Golden State Warriors. They added Boogie Cousins to their roster that makes them even more stacked in the way they were before. It's going to be a tale again, just like you said, LeBron versus Steph, the Cleveland versus Golden State. It's going to be that again, but now it's going to be in specifically the Western Conference Championship, Lakers versus Warriors. I see probably the Warriors getting out in 7.
The Lakers really put themselves in that battle with the Western Conference, and it's going to be tough, but in the end, it's still LeBron James. You're going to go with him. That Cavs team that started out last year isn't the team that he has right now with the Lakers. I'd rather have Rondo over George Hill or Jose Calderon. I'd rather have Kuzma over Tristan Thompson. And this Lakers team, he's going to try to get these guys to look like they're pretty good and on fire this year because he's going to try to attract a lot of free agents this upcoming next summer.
I can see these Lakers, as you guys mentioned, go to the playoffs, but I don't see them in a 1 through 3 seed or even 4 seeds. I see them 5 through 8. This team, they're not used to playing, any of these players, they're not used to playing with the superstar caliber of LeBron James. And then these rookies, too, they need to kind of get a feel. I feel like next year or the year after, they're for sure title contenders. But who's going to go against this Toon squad the Warriors have?
I'm with you.
The Lakers.
With you. Yeah, I'm with you that they need to work on their team chemistry, but it is LeBron James. He drags every team. He did it in Cleveland. He did it in Miami. He did it in Cleveland.
But when he did it in Miami, he had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
But he's dragged teams through the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying that he's going to help them not be a low seed in the West. That's crazy. It's LeBron James' team. He's going to be a top 3 seed.
And this bench is underrated. Rajon Rondo is probably one of the top point guards with his ability to pass the ball and get a lot of guys opportunities.
I feel like those Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo.
Great defender.
Guys,
I don't see it.
I hate to cut you off, but Chris, I will allow a point to Chris. We'll see you right back after the break.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome to Husky Tonight.
Yesterday, I just polished off a whole pack of Capri Sun, and tonight, I'm whipping out the hard stuff. Danimals.
How can you do that?
I banged the thing!
Hockey ain't even a real sport.
I'm sorry, bud, but you're gonna have to make like Toronto and leave.
You wanna hear fat?
What's your name?
I don't know.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
All right, guys, for the first time in Crunch Time history, we have a 3-way tie. To break the tie, Kyrie Irving has decided he will most likely re-up with Boston. Good or bad move?
For himself, I think it puts him in the best opportunity to win now. Boston, they were so close last year. Terry Rozier was great to step in, but he's not Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving gets them to the finals.
I think this move for Kyrie Irving and the Boston Celtics is a fantastic move. I don't care anything that's going on. Kyrie Irving is a top 3, maybe 5 point guard in the league, and he's the one who can take it to the playoffs.
I agree with you. I mean, this is a huge move for Kyrie. It's awesome because Kyrie is one of the best. I mean, you've got Gordon Hayward too, and he was also injured last year. This is going to make this team elite, and with a really depleted Eastern Conference, it could make them a sleeper champion this year.
I can see them going to the conference championship.
Just like Kyrie Irving is elite, Chris, once again, remains elite. He wins once again. That was quite the battle, everyone. Great show. Chris, once again.
Good stuff, guys.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you for coming to Crunch Time, and we will see you next time.